So this is a shooting board. In a minute I'll show you how to make one. You can use a shooting board if you made a cut on a piece of stock and you want to make sure it's square. You can put it on the shooting board, or if something's just a little bit longer than you want, you can put it on the shooting board and take a little shaving off of it. And it works like this by moving the plane. And if you want to go a little bit further, I can just move that. I have to hold this down to the shooting board. I can use a square to check my work. Adding a small triangular piece to your shooting board cut at a 45-degree angle allows you to use it for trimming miters. So I'm going to use it now to trim this little mitered piece of wood. And so if I have two pieces, one of them slightly cut a little long, I can use the shooting board to make sure in just a few passes that they're the same length. And again, I can use a miter square to make sure that that is the 45-degree angle. To make a shooting board, I have a base made of 3/4 inch plywood. I have a thinner piece of plywood that aligns exactly on the edges. This will be the guide edge that will control the plane. And this is a piece that will be mounted square to this edge. And I'll double check with the square to make sure that these are square. And this will be screwed through to connect it. So with that, I'm going to begin construction. I'm going to use a staple gun to attach the thin piece of plywood to the thick piece of plywood. You can use many other techniques. You could use some flathead screws if you wanted, or you could just use nails, short brad nails to attach it. You want to make sure that this edge are perfectly aligned throughout their course. So I'm checking very carefully with my fingers. My fingers are much more sensitive for a job like this than my eyes are. And then it's just a matter of quickly. I'm going to double check again as I go so I don't get ahead of myself. And now the next job will be to take this cross piece and get it positioned the same way. I'm going to put in one screw, and in case something moves around a little bit, I'm going to check it before I put the second screw in, because I don't want it to be all square. So I'm going to drill a hole. And then with this screw in that pilot hole, I can drive the first one in. So I'm going to use an impact driver to drive it in, making sure once again that I've made all of my edges okay. It still feels like it's in alignment there. I'm going to check it, make sure it's in alignment all the way across here. I'm also going to double check with a square. So with the square held tightly along this edge and tightly along that edge, I'm going to put some weight down on it as I drill my second pilot hole. Double check to make sure that everything's still where it belongs. And then with the impact driver, make sure everything is held down tight. And once again, I'm going to check and see that everything is square. There are a couple things you can do at this point to make your shooting board more useful. One is to put holes in it so that it can be hung up. Another is to put a little ledger piece on the bottom so that it can be put in the vise and held tightly so it doesn't move as you're using it. And now I want to give it a quick test. I take my board, put it there. Sounds like it needs a little bit of wax. And I can test with the square to see what I've done.